Good morning, children. Welcome to this class. Today we will discuss about our changing the earth. Last class we have been discussing the topic how the earth changes. So earth changes due to various activities, various tectonic movements. So how these tectonic movement takes place, about volcanoes, earthquakes we have discussed. Let us this class will continue with the topic that is changing of the earth, chapter number 3.
This module includes introduction, movement of earth, endogenic forces, exogenic forces, work of river, work of sea waves, work of glaciers, work of wind, and recapitulation. The work of a river. Running water in rivers erode the landscape. Course of a river. Nearly all the rivers have an upper, middle, and lower course. Upper course. The main characteristics of upper course are as follows. Usually begins in the hills. The river is smaller and usually has a rapid, tumbling flow that cuts a narrow channel through rocky hills or mountains. May roll along large boulders in swift current. Middle course. When the river descends to the lower levels, it runs more slowly over the gently sloping land in its middle course. Its current no longer has the force to carry stones or gravel. These materials are dropped on the riverbed, where it forms bars of sand or gravel or builds islands. Lower course. As the river flows downstream, it reaches the still gentler slope in its lower course, drops more of its loads than it did upstream, and begins to build up its bed instead of tearing it down. The valley is then eroded into a wide lake. The river swings in great S-shaped curves, forming loops called meanders. Let us have a look at the animation on waterfall, which is usually formed in the upper course of a river.
Waterfalls are usually found in the upper course of the river, in the hills or mountains. Waterfalls are formed when a hard layer of rocks cover a sub-layer of rocks. Water flows over a hard rock, and when it reaches the soft rock, the water starts to erode or wither away the soft rock. Over thousands of years, the soft rock is eroded, and the river begins to cut down vertically into the rock. This makes a cliff over which the water can tumble. Over the period of time, the cliff becomes steeper and deeper, and the waterfall is formed. At the bottom of the waterfall, a plunge pool is created. Some of the water splashes onto the cliff and makes a large hollow plunge pool by a process called undercutting.
Falls. Niagara Falls and Victoria Falls. Floodplain. Layers of fine soil and other sediments are deposited along the riverbanks because of flooding. This leads to the formation of floodplains. Floodplains are very fertile. For example, the Indo-Gangetic floodplain. Meander. It is formed when the moving water in a river erodes the outer banks and widens its valley. As the river descends from the mountains and enters the plains, it forms large banks known as meanders. The following animation will give a detailed explanation of the concept.
As the river reaches the plain, it starts meandering. In the lower course, the meander becomes even larger. The erosion causes the meander neck to narrow. Erosion on the outside of the bend and deposition on the slip of slope continues to take place. This results in the shifting of the river course. The deposition of the fine alluvial soil results in the formation of the fertile floodplain. The deposition process keeps increasing the meander width and size. The neck of the meander further closes until eventually it breaks through. The
Body of water formed when a wide meander from the main stream of a river is cut off to create a lake. The raised banks of the river are called levees. Delta. As a river approaches the sea, its speed becomes slower and the river breaks into many distributaries. It leads to the deposition of sediments at its mouth, and a delta is formed. Have a look at the different words of sea waves through this series of pictures. Ocean waves are caused by the wind as it blows across the surface of the water. Tides, waves, and ocean currents make the ocean restless. Waves are a powerful source of energy. Waves erode the coasts and deposit the eroded debris at some other place. A number of topographical features are made by these waves. Try to understand the world of sea waves through this animation.
Coastal landforms are formed due to erosion and deposition. Sea waves try continuously on the rocks. The waves erode and weaken the rock face to form a hollow or a sea cave. Continued erosion enlarges the hollow and makes natural branches. Slowly, its roof collapses. When the arch collapses, the seabed pillar is left standing and becomes a stack. Continual wave erosion eventually reduces the stack into a stack. Thinking of the sea waves at the rocks develops strength.
After some time, these cracks become larger and wider. These hollow caves are called sea caves. Sea arches and stack. When the cavities become larger and leave only the roof of the cave, sea arches are formed. When the roofs of the sea arches are further eroded and only the wall is left, sea stack is formed. Sea cliff and beaches. Sea cliff, steep rocky coast rising vertically above seawater. Beaches, the deposition of sediments along the shores. Now we will have a look at the world of glaciers. The accumulation of snow and ice on mountains and polar regions over a long period of time form glaciers. Glaciers are slow-moving rivers of ice. They perform erosional activities and carve out deep hollows. Let us have a look at some of the facts about glaciers. Glaciers and pack ice contain approximately 75% of fresh water of the world. 10% of the Earth's land area is covered by glaciers. Nearly 1 lakh glaciers are in Alaska, and most of them do not have names. If all the glaciers are melted, the sea level would rise by about 230 feet. Some of the famous examples of glaciers are Baltoro Glacier in the Karakoram Mountains, Pakistan, is one of the longest alpine glaciers on the earth. Its length is around 62 kilometers or 39 miles. Untitled Glacier in Switzerland is the largest glacier in the European Alps. Glacial lakes. Glaciers carve out deep hollows. When ice melts, these lakes get filled up with water and become lakes in the mountains. Examples of glacial lakes. The Great Lakes or Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie, and Lake Ontario are the largest glacial lakes in the world. Glacial moraines. The materials carried by glaciers such as rocks, sand, and silt form the glacial moraines. Let us have a look at the different worlds of wind through this series of pictures. Different kinds of landforms are shaped in areas where the wind action is strong. For example, in the semi-arid and arid zones. We shall now discuss some of the features formed as a result of the work of the wind. Sand dunes. These are low hill-like structures formed due to the deposition of sand, which falls from the upper parts of the rocks as the winds cause obstruction. For a detailed explanation of the formation of sand dunes, watch the animation carefully.
Wind is an active agent of erosion and deposition in the desert region. Sand dunes or sand hills are formed from wind-blown sand. When the wind blows, it transposes the sand from one place to another. When the wind stops blowing, all there is an obstacle. The sand falls and gets deposited at a new place, forming a new sand dune. In the cross section, you can see how the sand dune shifts from one location to the other. Most kinds of dunes are longer on the windward side because the sand was pushed back to dune, and the shortest lip face in the leeward side of the ring.
Good morning. Children, with this we will end of this class, and we will continue this regarding the sand dunes, how the sand dunes will be formed, etc. We will continue in this class. Thank you.